Our next presenter, Stephen Mendoza. He's a graduate student from the Department of Kinesiology, and his talk today will talk about putting ideas into action and expanding the 3 Wins fitness program.
You're only here for extra credit. Okay. What do you do? It's a pretty common question to ask or be asked when meeting someone for the very first time. It usually stops after the first time, but not when you're a kin major. See, I study kinesiology, and telling anyone you study kinesiology usually leads to questions like, what is that? Or, how do you pronounce that? And even after you tell them that kinesiology is the study of the art and science of human movement, they'll respond with, okay, so what? Are you a PE teacher, physical therapist, what? See, the problem is that kinesiology has this identity crisis of what it actually is, and what makes it worse is that we have so many students. We're not all physical therapists, so what can we do? Why don't we make a name for ourselves and create something that can help our students venture out to multiple careers, such as public health, health administration, or health education, etc. So we did, and it's called 3 Wins Fitness. 3 Wins Fitness is a free exercise program led by kinesiology students in 8 community parks to over 300 participants. The program exceeds the CDC recommended guidelines of 150 minutes of exercise per week, and the best part is that the kinesiologists are the director of the entire program. They work with no external funding to provide their own student training, their own marketing, and also their own exercise programming to provide a service that is lacking in this country, exercise. But despite this success, we still managed to strike out with potential partners and organizations that we feel have the same mission as us, such as the Los Angeles Department of Public Health, Providence, Kaiser, and even the chancellor of all the CSUs, which, if you did not know, is an exercise physiologist. Here I am thinking, great, we are addressing a problem that is apparent in this country, physical inactivity, and we are providing a service to the community for free, but no hit. No hit. But no hit. I know this one, don't worry. All those that I mentioned previously, like Department of Public Health, Providence, Kaiser, and the Chancellor, they all like what we're doing. They all like what we're doing for the most part, right? However, they don't agree to partner with us, but they love the idea of what we're doing. And they always suggest the same thing, get bigger. All right, we started out with 1 park, 20 participants, and we are now at 8 parks at over 300 participants, but the same feedback and suggestions, get bigger. Okay, so we told all the CSUs about our program, and we invited them to come to CSUN to demonstrate what we're doing so they can replicate it themselves. 4 universities replicated it, but still the same feedback, get bigger. Okay, all right. So, replicating it and expanding within the valley doesn't cut it, and having other universities replicate it with little to no assistance doesn't cut it either. So what if I replicate this program in another city, in another university across California to demonstrate how easy it is to replicate? So that's what I did. My project was to expand 3 Wins Fitness to Cal State University East Bay and Sacramento State using the following methods. Now, I know this looks complicated, so I'm going to do it in 2 parts. First, fundraise enough money to cover travel, food, lodging, and equipment expenses. Second, hold a video conference meeting with students and faculty so that way we can propose dates of visits and also program launch date. Have the students create their own campus program, like the one we have here, FMM, so that way they can recruit more students to become instructors, and then finally have my 3 visits. In my first visit, I will create relationships with the universities and park services. In my second visit, I will hold a program and student exercise training. And in my last visit, I will oversee the community program launch date. Now, instead of me going into detail of everything that I just did there, which will probably bore most of you to sleep, I would rather tell you about what I've learned through my experience, so when you have an idea or you want to create something that you believe will change the world, you know exactly what to do. To start, this required a lot of time, patience, resilience, meetings, etc., you name it. What I did was I searched for contact information of someone in a department of interest. For example, kinesiology, department chairs, risk management, what else? Student affairs, Department of Parks and Recreation, etc. And I emailed them. But to my surprise, they did not respond. Why? Probably because it's very easy to ignore an email. I should know, I ignore emails all the time. Unless they are from my students, which I'm only saying because I'm assuming you're all here right now. So, what is lesson number 1? This may come to a shock to a lot of you because I definitely cannot be the only one shocked by this. But lesson number 1 is call them. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to make something happen, you had to pick up the phone and talk to another human being. The best part about it is that if they don't pick up, you just call them again another time because it's very difficult to ignore a phone call forever as opposed to an email. So lesson number 1, call them. Lesson number 2, email them what you just discussed over the phone, but use this as an opportunity to expand and give more detail about exactly what it is you're trying to accomplish, so that way they know exactly what you're trying to do. And after you email them, make sure to follow up. Third and final lesson, how to meet in person. See lesson number 1. Call them and ask to meet. Be specific when you want to meet. For example, since I had to go visit these schools, I had a lot of time for meetings. And so when I called them, I would ask, can you meet right now? This took the hassle away of requesting availability and having this email exchange that would just eat away your schedule and time. So better to be straightforward than to beat around the bush. But the purpose of this project was not to rediscover how to effectively communicate with somebody else. That's not the purpose of my project. The purpose of my project was to see if I can replicate 3 Wins Fitness using my methods. And I'm happy to say that yes, you can. This time last year, both Sac State and East Bay had no idea what we did or who we were, and today they are leading their own fitness program. How? It's because of those 3 lessons I just talked about. Call, email, and call again. Communication is key. My motivation for this project was to stop striking out with organizations that could be potential partners in the development of 3 Wins Fitness, and to give kinesiology students another career outlet so people can know what we do. And I'm happy to say that I think we did it. The American Council on Exercise, or better known as ACE, has agreed to partner with us and offer our students a paid position to create 10 new 3 Wins Fitness programs in Los Angeles County. We finally hit that ball. It was one of the best feelings in the world, a feeling that I cannot describe. Because now, when someone asks you what you do, you can tell them, I study kinesiology. And they'll know, this person's probably a director of an exercise program, or uses their knowledge to create exercise programs in the communities that need it. So for those of you that have an idea, and you keep swinging and striking out, don't stop. Don't stop swinging. Be resilient, keep fighting, don't quit, and make a phone call. Because despite how long it might take, you might just end up like the Chicago Cubs and win the World Series. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yes.
And as someone who tries to avoid meetings at all costs, I can certainly attest to the idea that the phone call is the way to go. But also, as an instructor in the Communication Studies department, we share the difficulty in helping our students communicate what they do when they leave the university. What I really appreciated about your project was taking all the knowledge you got from sitting through dozens and dozens of meetings, but making it meaningful for us for a series of actionable steps. So thank you.
No problem.
We have some questions from our judges.
Oh, jeez.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I think the whole 3 Win Fitness, or starting from the 100 Citizen program, is a really inspiring story to all the CSUN students, your growth and impact on the community. So you've done a good job. I mean, expanding the program to other CSU campus. But standing here, thinking back what you've done, do you think there's anything that you could have done better or you could improve in the future when it comes to the further expansion of the program?
That's a great question. Thinking back, what I probably could have done better to be more efficient in implementing these programs across the CSUs was to call first. I mean, the whole email process just took too much time, just ate way too much time. I emailed them in October, and they wouldn't contact me, so I finally called them in December, and that's when things started happening. So I think, this speaks for itself that you have to call and do something right away, because if you email them, nothing's going to happen. So I think that's the best thing to do, is just not email and just go straight to the source.
This was a lot of work. It was impressive to see your process. I'm wondering, the participants, how did you go about recruiting participants in the fitness program, and are they useful in trying to expand the program?
So for the purpose of my project, which was just to implement the program and have the students mark it, I wasn't really focused too much on the participants as opposed to giving them outlets of how to market the program. So for example, we would tell them, what I did in my project was we created social media accounts for all of the universities with 3 Wins Fitness on the name, so that way they can market the Student Center program on campus. But it's a little bit different for the community program because not everyone in the community uses social media. So what I told them was to work through the park and have them create flyers and post to different elementaries or high schools, et cetera, so they can target the parents to get more participants to come out. And then after that, it could be word of mouth, where if they enjoy it, they can tell all their friends to come to the program as well. Because that's something that we do here in the programs that we have in CSUN. But as far as my project went, it wasn't necessarily marketing for the program.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.